This is the CBS Evening News with Morton Dean.
Good evening. In many different places, in many different ways, many millions of people celebrated a special day of prayer, special to Roman Catholics, Easter Sunday, special to Orthodox churches, Palm Sunday, special to Jews, the Passover. In Vatican City, Pope John Paul II spoke of peace. May the thoughts of peace prevail, he said. And in a direct reference to his unswerving opposition to abortion, he said, may respect for life prevail. The Pope used the occasion not only to express his adherence to long-held church doctrine, but to exercise his linguistic versatility.
A blessed Easter to you all, in the joy of the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ.
He sent greetings to the world in 43 different languages, including, quite naturally, Polish, the language of his native land, a land where the religious traditions of the people survive despite the political objections of their government. Doug Tennell reports.
Pomożenie nasze w imieniu Pana, który stworzył niebo I ziemię.
There seemed no end to all the different kinds of baskets. They may wait hours and spend all they earn just to gather the food, but in every parish in Poland, portions of the Easter meal are brought to the church to be blessed. This may be a communist country, but there remains here a deep commitment to the Catholic faith. So the church and the union movement have been inevitably tied together. One of last summer's strike demands was that Sunday Mass be broadcast by the state. And even though it was Holy Week, scores of priests spent days helping farmers negotiate the legal basis for an independent union of their own. So today, they joined together for the ancient Easter procession, 3 times around the church to herald the resurrection of Christ. There were some somber prayers for Poland's Roman Catholic primate, Stefan Cardinal Wyszynski. Despite illness, the 79-year-old Wyszynski issued an Easter message that was read in churches across the land. Faith in the resurrection of Christ, Wyszynski wrote, should guide the resurrection of Poland itself. Doug Tennell, CBS News, Gdynia, Poland.
There was no peace, no holiday from violence in Lebanon. An artillery blitz by Christian militiamen shook the city of Sidon and killed 16 persons. In retaliation, Muslim troops attacked 2 Christian churches with grenades and rockets. And blood flowed during an Easter Sunday Mass in the Philippines today. 2 terrorist grenades interrupted a church service there and killed 11 persons.
On mornings like these, I can't let minor arthritis pain or its stiffness stop me. So I turn to the warming power of Bengay.
Bengay warming power works fast. I rub in Bengay and feel that good old warming power deep, right where it hurts, breaking up pain and its stiffness for hours of relief.
No wonder Bengay's America's #1 selling arthritis rub. It's got warming power.
When arthritis pain grips you, break the grip of pain with Bengay.
Right now, you can buy the finest Mannington floor, Aristicon with JT88 Never Wax protection for 20% off, but only until May 15th, so hurry. Mannington Aristicon floors with JT88 Never Wax protection. 20% off and never more beautiful. 20% off and never more affordable. Here's an easy way to find the Mannington dealer nearest you. Call toll-free 1-800-453-8800.
The Bay of Pigs, the battle of 20 years ago, was recalled today as U.S. journalists were taken on a tour of the beaches where Cuba crushed the U.S.-backed invasion. Cuba's 3 days of anniversary celebrations are being capped tonight by a speech by President Castro. But the mood of many refugees from Cuba is far from festive. They exploded in a fury last evening at Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. 2,700 of them have been detained there for almost a year. Steve Croft has the story.
It began with a fight outside of Fort Chaffee Mess Hall. Then gunfire rang out, and Cuban refugee Jose Padron lay wounded, shot by a Federal Protection Service officer. Within a matter of seconds, a disturbance erupted. There was rock throwing and shouting, and federal officers went into the crowd swinging billy clubs. For several hours, crowds of angry Cubans roamed the compound, throwing rocks at security officers and overturning cars. Before it was over, 45 people had been injured, 4 seriously. 9 automobiles had been destroyed. Today, officials were still trying to sort out what had happened, but they insisted the shooting that sparked the violence was justified.
The officer used his weapon in defense of the life of another Cuban. The suspect had a homemade knife and was on the downward thrust with it when the officer did discharge his weapon.
I think that it was probably a combination of about 11 months of frustration and not understanding exactly what had happened.
But the trouble may not be over. There was another disturbance this afternoon. Security forces were called out after refugees began throwing rocks to protest the detention of a curfew violator. The crowd was finally dispersed.
It appears that things are fairly calm at the moment. But the blood is still up, you know, and it's still there. And we have to be very, very careful.
Late this afternoon, Camp Director Barbara Lawson spoke to the 2,700 refugees on a closed-circuit radio broadcast to try and restore peace and emphasized that further violence would only slow the already difficult task of finding sponsors. While the situation inside the camp is still tense, the situation appears to be under control. Fort Chaffee's 500-man security force is in the highest state of readiness, and there is an infantry battalion on alert at Fort Hood, Texas, just 2 hours away by military transport, should it be needed. Steve Croft, CBS News, Fort Chaffee, Arkansas.
Nancy Hamilton will cross our path 8 times today. We're S-Mark. We own the companies that supply her peanut butter and turkeys, rubber gloves, baby nursers, her daughter's Danskin tights, fertilizer, oil filters, and motor oil. We're S-Mark, a big company with a big stake in Nancy Hamilton and in you.
What do wine experts say about Gallo Rhine wine? Retired restaurateur Pietro Sacco.
Its light taste goes with any food.
Restaurant critic Paul Wallach.
It has a springtime feel about it, a lovely bouquet. It's really a winemaker's achievement.
Wine consultant Rod Rodewig.
It never disappoints me in taste.
Rhine wine from the winery of Ernest and Giulio Gallo. The more you know about wine, the more you appreciate Gallo.
No one knows for sure, but it's estimated that around the country there are 250 coal mine fires smoldering under the ground and out of control. Some were started by careless campers, others by lightning. Some have been burning for years. One of the worst is burning beneath Centralia, Pennsylvania, and residents plan to meet tomorrow night to try to find a solution. Steve Young reports the fire there is no longer just a nuisance, but a threat to life and property.
Parts of Centralia, Pennsylvania look like the outskirts of hell. A coal mine fire has raged underground for more than 19 years. Many of the 1,100 residents whose families have lived here for generations are reluctant to leave. They couldn't sell their houses to outsiders anyway because about a year and a half ago, the fire began creeping beneath dwellings and businesses, choking off oxygen and releasing lethal carbon monoxide. The gas seeps into cellars, forcing some residents to stake their lives on detection equipment provided by the Federal Office of Surface Mining. Along with steam, the gas belches out of pipes drilled to track the path of the fire, odorless and deadly.
Scary. I'm scared.
We're all scared.
Just like I said last night, we're running scared.
John Coddington used to run a gas station. Because of the heat, it's no longer safe to store gasoline underground, and Coddington now gets by selling candy to youngsters. Though his business has been killed, he considers himself lucky. He hasn't been. He was rushed to a hospital intensive care unit last month after nearly dying of oxygen starvation. State and federal agencies have been slow in coordinating efforts to fight the fire.
A number of agencies are responsible, probably, to bring their resources to bear on the Centralia problem. It's not just a technical question of can you put a mine fire out. It's the impact and the effect on the people.
Patience is wearing thin here. To show their frustration, the people have hung out red ribbons to symbolize state and federal red tape. Although the Interior Department recently agreed to spend $1 million to purchase about 25 properties, it's estimated that more than 100 families may have to be moved.
I said we must address the concerns of those in immediate danger first, and then we will address the concerns of those who may be in immediate danger in the future secondly. And this is the program we've launched.
That could happen overnight in my home. It could just go up. I mean,
I understand that. I understand that.
So, I mean, I think we all should get the opportunity to get out.
The state has moved those in the greatest immediate peril to trailers in the town but away from the danger zone. 9-year-old Rachel Lamb, who has asthma, prefers the cramped trailer to the big house she grew up in.
I couldn't catch my breath very well. I would have a hard time breathing, and that would affect me a lot.
Centralia will hold its first public meeting tomorrow night, leading up to a non-binding referendum on what some residents regard as the ultimate solution, relocating the entire town.
It split the town apart, which once was a close-knit society in town has now been disrupted to the point of families fighting against families, neighbors against neighbors, relations. It's really getting bad. I mean, almost to the point of fistfights at times.
There are no existing state or federal programs to move a whole town. Officials are focusing on other options.
I'd say that it would probably be one of the alternatives which involves substantial excavation. And that means buying some homes, relocating some people, bulldozing them, digging down and getting hold of that fire by the throat, yanking it out and putting it out. And then reconstructing a town, perhaps at the same time.
Just putting the fire out, it's estimated, would cost between $25 and $84 million. Almost $4 million has been spent over the past 2 decades in piecemeal attempts. The town owns the mineral rights to a rich vein of anthracite coal, worth, by some estimates, $200 to $400 million. That has led some citizens to a darker suspicion that they are not the victims of bureaucracy, but something else.
I believe there's some type of plot, or if you're going to call it a conspiracy, to get the coal, which is all right with me, as long as I get treated fairly.
It will be summer at the earliest before state and federal agencies agree on a solution. If the money is found, it would take up to 10 years to put the fire out. In the meantime, the deeply religious people of this town remain frustrated and bedeviled by the poison gas from the fire below. Steve Young, CBS News, Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Members of Atlanta's Special Police Task Force have rushed to an Atlanta suburb where the body of a young black male was found today. The task force is trying to determine if it's related to the city's child murder cases. The list of murdered and missing now stands at 25, 23 known dead, 2 others missing.
I'm Johnny Bench. This is Krylon Spray Paint, the other leading national brand. And here comes my fast pitch, so watch close. Krylon Special Formula goes on smooth, just like a professional finish. And just 12 minutes later, it's dry to the touch. No runs, no drips, no errors. The other brand's still tacky after 1 hour. Let's see it again. Krylon dry after 12 minutes, other brand still tacky after 1 hour. Did you catch that? Krylon, for a smooth, fast professional finish.
Mom, he's putting A1 steak sauce on his hamburger.
My dear nephew, what is hamburger? Chopped ham? No, it's chopped steak. And what's better on steak than A1? A1 makes hamburgers taste like steak burgers. Take a bite. A1's herbs and spices blend with the meat's natural juices.
Delicious.
Sure.
It's really juicy and tastier. Best hamburger you'll ever have. Because it's a steak burger.
Hey, your uncle's steak burger.
A1 makes hamburgers taste like steak burgers.
Barring a last-minute ruling by a Supreme Court justice, come tomorrow, the order of the day in Los Angeles will be walk, don't bus for thousands of public school students. They will be permitted to report to neighborhood schools rather than be bused to others for integration purposes. A federal appeals court ruled late last night that mandatory busing may end tomorrow. Supporters of busing today asked Supreme Court Justice Rehnquist to keep the buses rolling. Not far from Los Angeles, some California residents have a dream about the kind of school their children should go to. They share the same dream about the same school. Barry Peterson reports the school board will meet this week to decide whether that dream will remain a reality next year.
It is time for class, an ordinary occurrence at thousands of elementary schools, but not so ordinary here. This is a one-room schoolhouse.
Who can spell nurse? The lady who helps us when we're sick. Yes, Stephen.
Fairfield School is located near Davis in rural Northern California. First through third grade for some 30 children. Here because rural parents refused to let the school die. Fairfield opened in the 1860s, the Civil War years, the focus of rural social life in a time when swimming lessons were held at the nearby fishing hole. In the late 1960s, the old building was torn down, a new one built. The school was closed after Proposition 13, a victim of budget cutting. When parents wanted to reopen it, school board officials said there was no money to pay for custodial care or keep up the building. The school board figured that would be the end of it. They didn't bargain for the determination of Ernie Fanner, who has spent all his life on farms, not much more than a 10-minute horse ride from the school. He organized parents to do the maintenance and met the school board's terms. A Fairfield graduate, he didn't want his children forced to attend city schools.
Rural people are rural people, and we just didn't feel we were part of the gang. We didn't feel we had an input, and now at our school up here we have our potluck dinners where everybody comes there. We get to know the next guy's kid.
The school has also attracted some city folks, like Mark McNamee, a biochemistry professor at a nearby state college. Here this day to help out, as each parent is required to do. Second grader Beth McNamee transferred from the city elementary school and finds herself right at home.
It's smaller, and it doesn't have as much people.
Is that good?
Because the other school is too crowded.
In terms of her schoolwork, because it's multi-graded, they divide into groups, and she can be whatever group is appropriate for whatever she's doing at the moment. And I think that makes every day interesting.
On a sunny afternoon during the lunch hour, Carolyn Fanner sometimes brings a pony for the children to ride. Or the youngsters try their hand at kite flying.
The children are helping each other across the grades, and it's really a delightful thing to see. There's a lot of kindness generated, and there's a lot of consideration.
One-room schools are virtually extinct in this country, not considered modern. Here, they don't think of themselves as old-fashioned, just lucky.
Did Mrs.
Barry Peterson, CBS News, near Davis, California.
For several years, oil has been in short supply, but now there's an oversupply. Saudi Arabia's oil minister said today his country engineered the current oil glut. And on NBC's Meet the Press, Sheikh Ahmed Zaki Yamani asserted that until OPEC agrees to one price, Saudi Arabia will not raise prices or cut production.
If you ran into an old boyfriend, would the years look better on him than on you? I wondered until I discovered Oil of Olay, the beauty fluid that's similar to your skin's own natural fluids. Each drop penetrates quickly, without being greasy, easing dryness to help soften the signs of age.
It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You look great.
Thank you.
Discover the mystery of Oil of Olay. It can help you look younger, too.
Now that our family's growing up, we rely even more on Silverstone's non-stick convenience. Take breakfast. It's everyone for himself. French toast for Anne, eggs for Tom, pancakes for Peggy, and easy cleanup for all of us. With all this use, you'd think the non-stick surface would wear out, but it hasn't. That's one more reason we love it.
Look for the Silverstone seal on cookware, bakeware, and electrics. Silverstone, the most durable non-stick surface ever made by DuPont.
Baseball players usually don't work an 8-hour day, but they did yesterday and early today in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Players on the Pawtucket Red Sox and the Rochester Red Wings, two minor league teams, pitched, batted, caught, and yawned their way into the record books through the night. They played for 8 hours and 6 minutes, a 32-inning game. The game was suspended just after 4 a.m., but it isn't over yet. The game is tied 2-2 and will be resumed in late June. The 32-inning game easily broke the previous record, which baseball trivia fans will remember was a 29-inning game between Miami and St. Petersburg in 1969. The teams did not get a day off today. They played a doubleheader. There's a moral in there for all of us, never give up. And there's a moral in our next baseball story, which can apply to many of us, that life can begin at 40. Harold Dow has the story.
The scowl, punctuated with a wad of chewing tobacco. The hidden moves, the strikeouts. Trademarks of Louis Tiant. 225 Major League wins in a career that has covered 17 summers. Here he is, the familiar Cuban, El Tiante, getting ready to pitch another season opener in the pros for the Portland Beavers of the Pacific Coast League, the minors.
I think the situation with the New York Yankees was, as he calls it, a situation of 40-40 eyesight. They have a 40-man roster, and he was 40 years of age, and because of the one, he didn't make the other. Louis Tiant's using the Portland Beavers to push himself back to the big leagues.
You blow a bubble? No? Yeah, that's great. You got a twinkle in your eye. That's good.
Tiant first played for the Beavers in 1964, his last stop before making it into the major leagues. Ironically, some people are saying Portland could be the last stop on his way out of professional baseball. But the enthusiasm for the game is still there. His arm appears to be sound. What then is keeping him out of the majors?
They don't say nothing about how many games I win, how many games I lost, what is my record in the big league. Everything I hear in the radio, in the paper, is my age. You know, nobody believing I'm 40, and everybody say 100, 139.
But during the season opener, the Edmonton Trappers not only had Tiant's number, they really had his number. For Tiant, it was a brief appearance. He lasted only 2 innings, and although only a couple of the runs were earned, he was hit and hit hard. El Tiante left the game trailing 8-0. Back in the locker room, Tiant volunteered that he forgot to pack his curveball for the trip north.
Guy score a run on me, you know, but that don't make any difference. I get him back. I fight back, there's nothing wrong. I've been in that spot before.
And he's right. In 1971, Tiant was sent down to the minors and did indeed work his way back to the big time, leading the American League in earned run average in 1972. And in Spokane last night, old Tiant looked like, well, the old Tiant, pitching a no-hitter and striking out 10 along the way. So for Louis, maybe life does begin at 40, or thereabouts, after all.
When I had to retire, I retired. Only 2 people know, the guy and me. I don't believe in what anybody else say.
Harold Dow, CBS News, Portland.
And that's the news. I'm Morton Dean, CBS News, New York. Have a good evening and a good week.
Mister, you sure do take care of your truck.
I have to. It's my bread and butter.
What about your car?
I take it where I buy my tires. To General. Their mechanics are real pros with just about any service I need to keep my car running right.
Then you'd recommend General Service for my car, too?
Sure. They do a good job for me. They'll do a good job for you.
Sooner or later, you'll own Generals.
For National Secretaries Week, Susan got a rose complete with bud vase. Gwen received an appreciation corsage. Sharon's boss gave her a beautiful arrangement. Carol, she got a stunning hanging plant. And finally, Helen, she got, Helen receives a gorgeous bouquet. Don't forget your secretary during National Secretaries Week. She's done a lot for you.
This has been the CBS Evening News with Morton Dean. These stations supplied news, film, and tape to the CBS Evening News this weekend.
It's the new American dream, tax cuts and the end of inflation. CBS News looks at that promise and the man who made it. Reagan, the first 3 months, a special report starting Monday night.
This is CBS.
Pardon me, why are you shopping at Bill's Carpet Warehouse?
To take advantage of Bill's Sunday and Monday $50 remnant sale.
What sort of rug can you get for just $50?
I have a great choice. 9 by 12, 10 by 12, even a huge 12 by 12, just $50.
It's beautiful.
And broadloom is priced from $3.88 a square yard.
Well, you sure know carpet.
That's why I buy at Bill's. I'm not going to make a big mistake.
The $50 remnant sale, Sunday and Monday at Bill's Carpet.
Did you see this article in the Journal?
Yeah, I did.
I'm buying a few hundred shares.
I'm calling my broker this morning, too.
Why call them? Call First Georgetown Securities. You save 50 to 70% on commissions.
50 to 70% less?
Right. We both know what we want, so why pay for research and advice?
First Georgetown. What's their number?
785-5000.
Okay, I'll call them.
At First Georgetown, save up to 70% on commissions.
PM Magazine takes a ride with New York's crime fighters, the Guardian Angels, and flies into a California town with street runways and garage hangars. 7:30 Monday.
This is Eyewitness News with Bob Strickland.